Before I open the hearing for the Barnstable Conservation Commission, I would like to ask Angela to do a roll call for the quorum purpose.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Abedili.
Present.
Hearn.
Present.
Koshulik.
Present.
Lee.
Present.
Sampu.
I am present.
Yay.
Tangney, present. Administrator Ed Hoops.
Present.
Staff member Kim Kavanaugh.
Present.
And Agent Brady Hill.
Present.
We
have a quorum and full staff, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Acting under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and or Chapter 237 of the Code of Town of Barnstable, the Barnstable Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, August the 12th, 2025 at 3 p.m. for the applications of James Sullivan, Kathy Lavender's trustee, Royal Cataniniat Concert Group, Inc., Kath J. Morgan, trustees, 3 Bay Preservation, Inc. This hearing is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government's Access Channel. The plans and application are on file and may be reviewed by scheduling appointments by sending email requests to @hoops at 230 South Street, Hyannis. In accordance with the Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 20, please let the chair know if anyone is recording this hearing. Hearing none. This afternoon's hearing agenda is posted on the town's website. On the agenda, next to each application is the amount owed to the Town of Barnstable for the cost of advertisement. Please send your checks to the Conservation Division at 230 South Street before the hearing. Remote participations. The Conservation Commission's public hearing will be held by remote participation as a result of an act extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency signed by the Governor on March 28, 2025, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. Remote public access to this hearing shall be provided in the following manner. 1. The hearing will be televised via Xfinity Channel 8 or High Definition Channel 1072. It may also be accessed via Town of Barnstable's Government's Access Channel. 2. The real-time public comments can be addressed to the Conservation Commission utilizing the Zoom link 850-4355-8859 or use the toll-free phone number 888-475-4499 as shown on the agenda. 3rd, the public can also email the comments to edwin.hoops@town.barnstable.ma.us at least 8 hours prior to the hearing. For your information, the applicant for the second continuance this afternoon, Town of Barnstable DPW, has requested for a continuance to September the 9th, waiting for the NHSB letter. This afternoon, under the old and new business, we need a vote to authorize the Edwin Hoops, our staff administrator, to affix our digital signature for each of the commissioner as applicable to the order of conditions, certificate of compliance, determinations of applicability, or any other orders or decision as applicable. Is there any discussion from the commissioner so that after we vote this, we don't have to go and sign all the orders in person? No question, right?
No, I'm good with it.
We've been waiting for it.
Okay. Could I have a motion to authorize the Edwin Hoops, Conservation Administrator, to affix the digital signature of each Conservation Commission member as applicable to the orders of conditions, certificates of compliance, determination of applicability, or any other orders or decisions as applicable?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Abedili.
Aye.
Hearn.
Aye.
Koshulik.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Sampu.
Aye.
And Tangney, aye. That's unanimous, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. We have 2 revised plans. The first one is the Rongo Realty Trust, Realty LLC SE3-6171. John?
Good afternoon, John O'Day from Sullivan Engineering Consulting. I will bring up the plans for you all. This was a demo rebuild. I'll start by just sort of showing the highlighted changes. We're doing some kind of minor tweaks to the hardscape around the house. The house is under construction. There was a patio approved off of this northeast corner, which was within the 50-foot buffer, which we have eliminated. Within the 50-foot buffer, we have proposed two little wing walls that will just allow flood vents to be located in those corners of the foundation to allow the per building code the flow of water in and out. And you can see on the back patio, there was one step. Now we're at sort of a 2 steps and a landing. There's no change in square footage in the 50-foot buffer. It came out exact. Between the 50 and 100, this was the approved hardscape in orange. So the walkway went out straight out to the street, and between the garage and the pool was kind of basically just a continuous stretch. We've changed the walkway to more head towards the driveway, had some planters interspersed amongst the patio. That square footage did change a little bit, but we are still a reduction in square footage on this project. And I do have the actual non-highlighted plan as well for you, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, John. Any question from the commissioner? Angela?
No, I just wanted to thank you for the color-coded approved and removal, because it was difficult. The place is under massive construction. It was difficult to go there and check what you were talking about, but on this plan, it seemed to match what it could. So as long as there's no change in hardscape, I have no problems with this. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Any other comment from the commissioner or questions? None? Could I have a motion to approve the revised plan as submitted?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Abedili.
Aye.
Hearn.
Aye.
Kashulik.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Sampu.
Aye.
And Tangney, aye. That's unanimous.
Thank you, everyone.
The second revised plan is Town of Barnstable, DBW, SE 3-6157. Paul?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and members of the commission. My name is Paul Graves. I work for the Town of Barnstable Department of Public Works, and we are requesting a plan revision to remove 8 what we call block drainage structures, because they're fashioned out of concrete blocks, and we would rather remove those and then install modern precast structures that would be catch basins and manholes, because those block structures, we have some concerns that they might not have enough useful life, and we are going to be repaving the entirety of Gosnold Street, and typically we aim to not open up the pavement for as long as we can after it gets repaved, and usually the rule of thumb is pavement should have a useful life of about 30 years. And so we would really appreciate that. Do you want me to show the exhibit and go through each location or not?
I don't think it's necessary. Basically, this is an improvement to existing drainage structures along the road. And this is some longevity-wise for the drainage. So this is good projects as you catch up. You're finding it. So I don't have any questions. Any question from the commissioner? Seeing none, Could I have a motion to approve the revised plan as submitted?
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Abadili,
Aye.
Hearn,
Aye.
Koshulik,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Sampu,
Aye.
and Tangney, aye. That's unanimous, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Good luck, Paul.
Thank you, everyone.
We have 3 warning letters. Let me go one by one, and then we'll go to Brady's. The first one is Charles P. and Carol J. Piper, 721 Old Post Road, Contour, map 054, parcel 011-002, violation of ongoing conditions of a certificate of compliance for file, SC3-4271. Brady?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this warning letter is for a boat being stored on a previously permitted pier. It says explicitly in the order of conditions that a boat of this kind is not allowed on the pier. And we got a complaint from another town employee that it was on the pier. That's where the photo's from. So I've issued a warning letter. I then received email response from the boat owner saying it was just there because there needed to be some repairs, and it was back in the water off the pier shortly afterwards. So it has complied with the warning letter I issued.
Thank you, Brady. Any questions from the commissioner? None. The second warning letter is 264 Route 6A LLC, 981 River Road, Marston's Mill, map 045, parcel 002, alteration of a buffer to a wetland resource area, cranberry bog by cutting vegetations. Brady?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This one is, we received a complaint that there may have been cutting on the property line between a cranberry bog and a residence. I reached out to the homeowner, took a visit. There were a few areas I could see had been cut or trees that had been pruned. The homeowner admitted to cleaning up the area, taking some brush out, and removing at least one tree. So I asked him to please cease doing that and put 1 native tree and 2 native shrubs in the place that removed vegetation.
Thank you, Brady. Any question for Brady?
Did you receive a response from the homeowner, Brady?
I have not just yet. I'm going to reach out if I don't hear anything soon. So.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. The third warning letter is David Blackberry and Elizabeth Rose Tuffankelian. Dave Gregory and Elizabeth Rose Turkins and trustees and Rose T trustee trust, Realty Trust. Brady, 235 Prince Avenue, Marston's Mill, map 076, parcel 015, alteration of a buffer to a wetland resource area, Prince Cove and Swamp by cutting 1 trees and remove soil to install a stone garden lining. Brady?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I was visiting the area for a different issue and noticed that there was some sort of minor construction going on. It looked like a tree had been cut and there was some blocks getting ready and there was some digging. So I sent a letter off and set up a meeting with the homeowner. When we met on site, the blocks were already in place and the garden bed planted. The stump was still there. So I asked the homeowner just to stop adding anything else and retain all the vegetation that was put in as to limit the impact on the wetland resource areas near here.
So we all said with this response, right? Correct.
Oh, what'd you say, Tom?
You all said with homeowner on this one.
Oh, yes. Yeah, he agreed to everything on site. So,
okay. Any questions from the commissioner?
I have a question. Brady, how far away was this garden, the edge of the house, to the resource area?
So it's kind of if you ever been down that road there, it's kind of secluded, but it's positioned in between swamp on one side and Prince Cove on the other, but it's not particularly close to either, and there's already hardscape in between. So that's why I did a warning letter instead of an enforcement order on this one specifically. I can't remember off the top of my head exactly how far, but I believe it's within the 50 to 100 to Prince Cove, and maybe on the edge of the 50 to the swamp, but it's still relatively far. So,
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other question from the commissioner? Thank you, Brady. We have 5 enforcement order. The first one is Robert J. Ramp 4 and Thomas P. Ramp 356 Sioux Flying Hill Road, Centerville, map 193, parcel 029, alterations of a 50-foot buffer to a wetland resource area. Lake Waquacut by adding unpermitted hardscape including a patio and fire pit. Brady?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this was sitting in my complaint folder when I started the job a little while back now, and it's a little cottage on Lake Waquacut, right off Shoot Flying Hill Road. It's kind of a secluded little driveway there. I had seen on aerial images that there used to be a small brick patio. You can kind of see it in this aerial image. That had recently become a much larger patio with fire pit and landscaping around it. So I sent off something to the owners and took a site visit, took some photos here. Photos didn't really reveal anything new, but it showed clearly that there was this kind of paver patio thing and walkway as opposed to the small patio that had existed before. So... they graciously provided some drone photos that show clearly the patio as it was before any renovation, and then the extended patio. So in my enforcement order, I told them to cease and desist anything affecting the buffer and either remove the patio and fire pit by September 27th or seek approval by November 27th.
Thank you, Brady. Any question for Brady?
Just same question. Any response from the homeowner?
Yes,
Yeah.
they are on the call. Both Rob and Tom.
Oh, okay, great. Maybe they could comment, Tom.
Yeah.
Yep. So my name's Tom Remis. I am the co-owner with my brother Rob John Remis as well. I do have a little presentation that shows kind of everything that was done there as well. I did speak with Edwin Hopper on January 2nd. He came to the property. We spoke over the phone briefly that day, and he wasn't quite sure if this would go for a notice of violation or not. He told us he would let us know, and then we did get a certified letter from Brady Hill on June 25th, which then we met him on site the following day to kind of go over and see what was needed. So the little background on the property, this is a family cottage that my grandfather purchased the land back in 1950. The cottage itself was built in 1953 and kind of passed down through generations. With the early passing of my father back in 93, we took it over in a trust and then fully took it over a few years back and started renovating it because it was in disrepair essentially in the last 10, 15 years. So we've pretty much completed the interior work back around 2010, 2012. With our families growing, it's a 953 square foot cottage. We were looking for more outdoor space. Did not realize that it was needed for a notice of intent. Kind of figured that out after talking with Brady, as well as going through the bylaws and conservation here regulations. We did have a landscaped architect as well as a company, Dex by Terra, assist us with the design and installation of the patio space. So we do have right now, it was a roughly 175 square foot existing brick patio that was removed and replaced with approximately 490 square feet of pervious pavers, as well as a small retaining wall We do have 6 arborvitaes, 23 K Fosters, and 31 hydrangeas with a mixture of mulch bed as well as river stone. From the rough calculations, we're about 691 square feet of landscaping, which puts us not in the 4-to-1 ratio that I've looked through the bylaws mitigation needs. So we're looking to propose a additional roughly 575 square feet of landscaped areas, essentially at the perimeter between the driveway and then downhill toward Lake Creek Pocket to act as a buffer zone as well as meet that 4-to-1 ratio.
Thank you, Tom, for the explanations. And I think at this point, all we need to know is that you'll be filing for keeping that hardscape and to go through the permitting process. That's what we're asking under this enforcement order.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So which part would it just be a notice of intent submitted to the Conservation Commission?
Yes.
Okay.
You just file the NOI into the office, and then we'll deal with the NOI when that comes up from the.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
Tom, could I make a comment? I believe that, thank you. I think the enforcement order as written is appropriate. And it says either remove it or proceed with an NOI. And it says projects are not guaranteed to be approved. And the patio that you have is right practically on the water. It's right, and it's a pretty substantial increase in hardscape. And we have historically not been permitting things like that. And so I just want you to know that, you're with mitigation that's possible, but I'm just looking at that picture. I'm not sure that that's such a good development. I mean, it was put in there obviously illegally, and you didn't understand or appreciate, the rules. But I would take a relatively dim view on a project like that. I mean, I guess it would depend on mitigation, but I just want to speak as one commissioner looking at this situation. So thank you.
Thank you, Bill. John?
Bill, is there usually a reason for things not getting permitted that close, or
Well,
things that meet criteria to your?
What we try to do is we try to keep development out of the 0 to 50. And the reason we try to keep development out of the 0 to 50 is because natural vegetation provides a very important buffer. It filters pollutants. It filters nutrients. It filters sediments and whatnot. And a lawn is not nearly as good as a wild vegetation, high grasses, bushes, and whatnot. But at least the lawn does something, whereas the hardscape does not. And so our ordinance basically calls for a waiver if you're going to be in the 0 to 50. And historically, we've had some debates. There's some of us who go, well, if you have a 4-to-1 mitigation and it's really good mitigation, what the heck? And yet, at the end of the day, sometimes mitigation ends up being mowed over, or it just doesn't take, or it, in 10 or 15 years, or, you sell the property, it just sort of disappears. And at the end of the day, you have hardscape. And then the hardscape ultimately, and this is just, a generic accounting, if you will. I'm not saying this is happening with your property, but when you end up then having that hardscape, you ultimately have people who, well, let's make a much bigger house. We already have the hardscape provided by this patio. Now we're going to have a twice as big house. And we're seeing that, and that happens. And so therefore, trying to curb the development in the 0 to 50 is an important thing. And I'm a proponent of that, which is not to say that there have not been situations when one of our dear members have convinced me that, yes, with that 4 or even 5-to-1 mitigation, that's a good deal. Look what it does to that property. So I have been persuaded, but it's an important battle that we fight on the Conservation Commission.
Understood, Bill. Yeah, we did line kind of the whole in between the hardscape area and the retaining wall that does have a lot of high grasses as well as hydrangeas to add as the buffer zone.
Thank you. John?
Yeah, two comments. Number one, I think this discussion is absolutely premature. I think that the only discussion for today is to change, modify, or approve the enforcement order. Secondly, I believe that this applicant is clearly read the regulations, understands the regulations, and is pursuing them correctly. I respect Bill's comments, but if you read the regulation, it specifically says we would allow 4-to-1 mitigation, but everything is site specific. So obviously we would need to look at this. So I think the approach you're taking as applicants is absolutely correct. You could listen to Bill's comments and maybe add something or modify it, but I think you're pursuing the right avenue. But again, I think the conversation is premature at this point.
Thank you, John.
John, we should not be discussing any future NOI under this enforcement order because we have not seen the plan submitted and we don't have full story behind what the proposed under the NOI stuff. So I was trying to discourage any further discussions on this stuff until we have the applications. So, any other question from the commissioner? If not, could I have a motion to approve the enforcement order as written?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Abadili.
Aye.
Hearn.
Aye.
Koshulik.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Sampu. Chagny, aye. Sampu.
I got it. Present and I.
That's unanimous, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
You lost your feet.
Thank you, Rob.
The second enforcement is Gregory LeBun and Elaine Kursmans, 12 Pond Street, Centerville, maps 230, parcel 088, alterations of a buffer to a wetland resource area. Melody Pond by adding unpermitted hardscape patio. Brady?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this parcel abuts Melody Pond in Centerville. Much of the backyard is within the 50-foot buffer, and there had been a deck there previously that was seemingly pulled out. The homeowners who have only recently bought the property told me that when they closed on the property, there was kind of a big hole there, and so that led them to putting in what I would consider a patio, but of a much larger footprint than the original deck or any of the construction in the back. So, and it does touch the 50-foot to Melody Pond. So here are the photos on site. It's got some crushed stone around it as well, and that structure overhead. And so I've asked them to cease anything affecting the buffer. And similarly to our previous enforcement order, I told them to remove the patio by September 27th or seek approval from the commission by November 27th.
Thank you, Brady.
And sorry, Tom. The homeowners are online right now, and John O'Day from Sullivan Engineering is working with them on a potential filing. I believe he might have an existing condition plan to show today. John, is that true?
Thank you. Any questions from the commissioner to Brady?
Nice to hear from John.
We have not
Okay.
started the existing conditions. We were just out there meeting with them like about 2 weeks ago. We gave them an outline proposal of all the steps that would be to take forward. We are signed up, but we do not have an existing conditions plan yet. I agree with what Brady said, that probably some portion of this is within the 50. I know the homeowners are here. They when they bought this, apparently there was a lot of mix-ups in the real estate transaction, and as they were closing, they were still putting in tight tanks. I can share, if you allow, I'll share a picture of what this like when they were closing. Oh no, I can't share because Brady's sharing.
There you go.
So, my understanding is they were led to believe originally, oh, don't worry, the house is hooked up to sewer. And then it was, oh, well, it's not hooked up to sewer, but we got a tight tank in. And then it was, well, we don't really have it in yet, but we're doing it. So my understanding is like they closed on this property and came down and found their backyard looking like this, which was approved. They had got approval to put in the tight tank, and there was a limit of work established. But the backyard was pretty well a disaster area, and they, in their minds, had the limit of work, had what they thought was a limit of work, made some assumptions that they could replace the deck that was beyond that. They didn't know. They were new to the area, and that's where we've gotten to.
Thank you, John. Gregory?
Yes.
So,
Hi, Mr. Chair.
so you understand you're going to file the NOI, right?
Yes.
Do you have any question for us?
No, I just want to say that we're new to the area. We just want to be compliant with all the regulations that the town has and the conservation committee has. And I'm a doctor. I've been serving this community for the past 20 years, and this is our intent is only to be compliant, okay, with all the regulations. And but as John mentioned, when we got the house, literally got the keys and we came. So it was really a disaster area, and so we like everything that was done kind of within the work zone of within the context of previous owners putting the septic tight tank, and they went through the emergency hearing with the conservation committee as well and board of health. So we thought that it's already kind of been approved, and
yeah, there was a buffer zone also, as you could see in the picture. So we thought we're still within and just
the zone of that putting the tight tank. Okay, so
yep, nope, I understand. I remember this from the board of health.
Yes.
thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for working with Brady and working with John to file the NOI for this application stuff, enforcement.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Could I have a motion to approve the enforcement order as written?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Abadili,
Aye.
Hearn,
Aye.
Kashulik,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Sampu,
Aye.
and Tangney, aye. That's unanimous, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The third enforcement order is Cheryl case 128 St. Francis Circle, Hyannis, map 291, parcel 228, alteration of a buffer to a wetland resource area, pond by adding unpermitted hardscape house additions. Brady?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is a little property along a pond in Hyannis. I don't believe the pond has a name, but maybe I've just forgotten it. So there's this kind of hexagonal deck on the property that wraps around the corner of the building. And it used to just be the deck, but sometime in the last 4 years, and I only pulled this 2025 photo because it was clearest here, but I believe sometime 2022, there was this addition built on the back of the house, and it's pretty substantial. but there was no permitting for it, and it's within the buffer to the pond. So I issued an enforcement order, but I also visited the property and spoke with the homeowner. I took some photos. They had put this in and didn't really know about the permitting. But I told them that we would have wanted to see something for something this substantial, so that I issued that enforcement order. I told them that they should cease and desist from anything affecting the buffer, and they should either remove the addition or restore the area, or by October 30th, or seek approval by November 30th. So I almost didn't include remove the addition because it's pretty substantial, and I personally thought that it might do more damage to the pond trying to take it out than just leaving it in and seeing what mitigation. But that's up to the commission, and that's why I included it.
Brady, is the additions with the full foundations?
I'm not sure, but the Case family is on. They may be able to answer that question.
So the deck was always there. It was there when I bought the house. So I didn't totally know. I was told, shame on me, but I was told that if I stayed within the deck, that I was okay because the deck was grandfathered in. So I didn't cut down any trees. I did nothing to the landscaping at all because it was already dirt. The people that owned the house before me had like a hot tub under there. There was rocks. There was nothing there. So I just took what the person said to me and I did it. My son and my grandchildren, were desperate for somewhere to live. So I was desperate to get it done, and I have no real, I'm sorry. I want to comply.
And
I feel bad. I'm like, my son has a disability. Their mother left them, my grandson. Their mother left, and he was just desperate for somewhere to live. So I just did it and took the person's word for it, and I shouldn't have. I get that. So.
And Mr. Lee, was your question? My name is Kenneth Case. I'm Cheryl's son. I live here with my children. Was your question? Does it have a foundation? Was that the question?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it has a full foundation.
Okay. So that kind of explains some of what Brady is concerning about. If we're asking you to remove it, then it becomes a bigger issue, than the disturbing of the buffer stuff. So, any questions from the commissioner to Brady? John.
I'd like to make a general comment. For a lot of these enforcement hearings over many years, and 95% of them are by people who didn't understand that there's no evil intent by those individuals. They just didn't know what conservation rules were. So I just want to say to everybody who may be listening that we understand as commissioners that this is not evildoers violating the law. It's innocent people who just didn't know the rules or whatever. In most cases, we've had some who intentionally, but that's different. So don't feel badly, just comply with what the staff is asking, and thank you for doing that. That's all. I felt necessary to say that, Tom.
No, I appreciate it. A lot of the homeowner, if they are moving out from off Cape to the Cape, and they may have to deal with the conservation regulation that we have in the town. So, I think they don't have an ill mind of doing anything wrong, but it just, if the previous homeowner has already expanded something, but it's not permitted, so that's why they have to deal with it. And any kind of the additions not permitted, that they have to deal with that, because those enforcement go with the house. So, could I have a motion to approve the enforcement order as written?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Abadili.
Aye.
Hearn.
Aye.
Kashulik.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Sampu.
Aye.
And Tangney. Aye. That's unanimous, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. good luck, Shell, and for the applications to get it permitted.
Thank you.
The next enforcement order is Linda Helmers and Robert Somers, trustee 1937 Avenue, Realty Trust 1937 Avenue, INS map 245 parcel 047, failure to request a certificate of compliance, SE 3-5156. Brady?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This one's pretty straightforward. They had an order of conditions issued to them for various things on site, including invasive removal and a couple other projects. It was issued February 12th, 2014. No tolling periods or extensions impacted that, so it expired 3 years later on February 12th, 2017. As is included with our orders of conditions, there is to be a request for certificate of compliance sent to conservation before that order of conditions expires, and that was not done. They were notified in 2018, and there was still no request, so I have filed an enforcement order.
Did you get any response from the homeowner?
Yes, I did. I'm trying to see if I have it. I don't think I have it. But I believe I did receive an email from them, so they have acknowledged that. I haven't received the request, but
they acknowledge they're getting your notifications.
Yes, yes.
Okay. John?
Brady, for my edification, what is the legal requirement for filing the certificate of compliance? I mean, do we give them a time limit after completion, or what is the rule, just for my edification?
Well, my understanding is that it is enforceable if they haven't requested it by the time the order of conditions expires.
Okay, so it's got to be filed before the order expires, or ask for an extension. Is that what
I believe that is the case, and this has been, or they've already been notified, and
okay.
You know, it's.
Follow-up question: do we, and Ed, maybe this is for you, do we have a system in place that sort of tracks when orders expire, so we follow up, or is it just kind of happenstance, or how do you handle that from the office?
No, we don't. We don't have the ability to track orders or conditions like that. It would be too time consuming for us to do that. But what we do typically is look, as we run across things in other investigations or while we're doing other types of permitting, we see somebody has an outstanding order that needs to be closed out. We let them know at that point. We did used to do letters, but again, that became more of an issue because we'd send more letters out, and then the person that was doing the COC requests became overwhelmed with the amount of COCs that were coming in, and then the COCs were sitting and waiting. So we try and get to them as quickly as possible. If we see something, we certainly take care of it. And from time to time, we will review some of the older outstanding orders. So if there are orders that are, in excess of 5-10 years out of date, then we'll approach the people to get that done as well. So,
thank you, Ed. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed, for the explanations. Could I have a motion to approve the enforcement order as written?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Abadili.
Aye.
Hearn.
Aye.
Kashulik.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Sampu.
Aye.
And Tangney, aye. That's unanimous, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. The last enforcement order is Margaret De Castro Robero and Delmar De Robero, 120 Cobblestone Road, Barnstable, map 316, parcel 063-001, alteration of a buffer to a wetland resource area, vegetated wetland, by cutting vegetation, including 2 trees. Brady?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You guys can still see this, right?
Yes.
Sorry, something on my end is kind of wigging out right now, but I think I can get through it. Here we go. So this was a specific enforcement case that Ed started when he was conservation agent. There was a solar project for this specific house, and they have close to the backyard is this little vegetated wetland here, and the 50-foot buffer runs close to the rear of the house. And as you can see by these images, there were at least 2 trees removed over the course of the solar project. This project was approved by our conservation assistant, Katie, but Katie did not approve any removal of trees, and the company doing the solar agreed to that, but almost 2.5 months later came back asking to remove trees. So then we got a call that trees were being removed anyways, and I believe Ed and possibly Darcy had asked for an after-the-fact RDA at the time, and that was in November, and there never was. So I have issued the enforcement order to ask them to file the after-the-fact RDA very soon and cease anything affecting the buffer.
Thank you, Brady. Did you get any response from the homeowner?
I've been in communication with the solar company because the homeowner was inquiring with them about any permitting. There was some confusion who was supposed to do the permitting, but I'm in continued communication with them to make sure that gets filed. I believe the intent is they're filing that after the fact RDA very soon. So.
Thank you. Angela?
I'm just curious, what was the solar company's name?
I believe it's, I think it's Sunrun, this one right here that Stephen Kelly works for. Yeah, I'm pretty
sure. You have it in the files. Okay,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, we have it.
Yeah. Any other question from the commissioner, Sir Brady? I think the homeowner is here, Margaret. You understand what we're asking you to do?
360-0845. And
Margaret?
that if you put on my husband is Patrick Brown.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the enforcement order as written?
Second.
Roll call.
Abadili.
Aye.
Hearn.
Hold on. We're getting back. We're getting feedback. Mrs. Riviero is trying to speak, and I think we're getting some sort of feedback from the inside the office. But I think she needs to. She wanted to have a chance to speak. She came through at the end. So, Mrs. Riviero, if you want to, there you go. Try it again.
Hello, Margaret.
Can't hear her, Tom.
She's not coming through.
So we make motions. Did we second it?
It was seconded.
You're ready to vote.
Yeah.
We ready for roll?
Yeah. Okay, roll call.
Abadili.
Aye.
Hearn.
Aye.
Kashulik.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Sampu.
Aye.
And Tangney. Aye. That's unanimous.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Tom. The only problem is that that's done, but the homeowner tried to say something, and maybe we need to explain that when the RDA comes before us, they will have a full opportunity at that time to speak, because sort of feel badly that they've tried and it failed.
Right. Thank you, John, for reminding. Because they have to file the RDA for this after the fact filing for that, and then we'll hear it from them. So.
And they will have a full opportunity to speak.
Right.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you. we have one RDA. This is James Sullivan to trim shrubs along road and path at 44 Bayview Road, Austinville, as shown in the assessors map 093 parcel 052. Before I go there, Jeff is to recuse himself on this. John. John O'Day.
Not me, I don't think.
No?
Yeah.
Who's representing things?
I'll see.
44 Bayview Road.
He is representing himself according to the RDA filing.
Okay. James?
Jim Sullivan.
Jim Sullivan's here.
You want to go through?
Can you hear me?
Projects? Yes. Do you want to go through your projects or you just want to take questions?
Well, it's just pretty simple. We're trying to just maintain the shrubbery right across the street from us and keep the path open, really.
So, would they be just the almost like a standard vista pruning type deal, looking at trimming the shrubs?
Yes.
Okay. Question from the commissioner.
I have a question, Tom.
Bill?
Yeah, I visited the site, today, and what I saw were shrubs that were relatively short. I mean, we're talking 4 feet or less, and I was wondering, when you say trimming, I'm glad that you're continuing to maintain the vegetation. You're not just removing the vegetation, but what would the height more or less be? It didn't seem like the shrubs were like all that high.
I would like to keep them kind of where they are, but this sort of the section behind is starting to offshoot. And I just wanted to make sure I was allowed to keep it at,
okay, you're talking like
the 4 foot.
Yeah, 3, 4 feet. Yeah, I get it. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other question from the commissioner? Any public comment on this one, Channel 18?
Seeing none.
Could I have a motion to approve this project as a negative determination?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Abadili.
Aye.
Hearn.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Sampu.
Aye.
And Tangney, aye. That's unanimous, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
We have 4 NOI. The first one is Kathy Lavender's trustee construct a story 20 by 16 additions and 4 by 20 covered entries to north side of existing dwelling with associated mitigation planting at 489 South Main Street, Centerville, as shown on the assessors map 206, parcel 063. Arlene?
Thank you. Good afternoon. Arlene Wilson, AM Wilson Associates here for Kathy Lavender. Let me share my screen. So, whoops, there we go. So this is a site of not quite a half acre, originally developed in 1977 with an order of conditions for which a certificate of compliance has been issued. The septic system was last updated in 2015. Resources at the site are almost everything you could imagine. Salt marsh, some brackish marsh, fresh shrub swamp along the edge. There are tributaries to the Centerville River, which essentially surround the construction site on 3 sides, and land subject to flooding up to elevation 12. About the only thing we're missing is rare wildlife habitat. It is not mapped for that. So the project is limited to the construction of an addition off the north side of the house and a covered walkway. So the idea is that this is going to be a bedroom that will be moved out of the rest of the house. So there are no additional bedrooms proposed here. Has its own bathroom and the covered walk in the front of the house is to provide a separate entrance for that bedroom. The vast majority of the addition is going to be constructed over an existing asphalt driveway. There's only 119 square feet that is not over that driveway, and that area is currently lawn and landscape shrubs. We will need to take down a single tree at the corner. Putting the addition in this location not only limits the amount of new alteration of the site and keeps it out of the 100-year floodplain, but it also allows us not to run afoul of the riverfront regulations. This tributary along the side has water in it essentially all year round, so it's a perennial stream. This red line is the 50-foot buffer from the BVW, which runs around the edge of the construction area on the lot, or the developed area of the lot, excuse me. And so you can see that there's no place on the lot where the addition could have been added, which would be less impactful. The furthest away from wetlands regulations is the center front of the lot where the existing leaching area is, and we couldn't displace that. It would be considerably more of a problem. There is in the backyard now an area that's been mowed predominantly for view shed, apparently, some time ago, although the first floor elevation of the house means that it significantly overlooks that view shed area. And so we've spoken with Ms. Lavender, and we're going to use that area for the mitigation that's required for this property. We need 649 square feet, which will be planted predominantly to native salt-tolerant shrubs, winterberry, bayberry, fragrant sumac, and sweet fern. I would be happy to answer questions that the commission might have.
Thank you, Arlene. Bill?
Yeah, I think putting the addition over where the driveway is important and sort of mitigates my concerns about that. I visited the site, and where you have the mitigation area, I actually walked in the back without my plans, and I had to go back to the car and get the plans and literally stand there and look at where it said, there says deck and then it says patio, and I stood by that patio, and that zone, I swear, is, well, for one thing, it's not marked. The mitigation zone is not marked. And secondly, it seems as if, I want to say 3/4 of it is already high vegetation. There are several small pitch pine that are, call it 3 feet tall. They're very young pitch pine, shrubs, high grasses, and whatnot. And so it seemed, I was a little concerned. There is mowed lawn, both to the right, and there's a little fire pit-like thing that's on the edge of the lawn. And then over to the left, there is lawn. But it seems to me, I mean, I'm sure I'm right, that mitigation zone that you have is already really kind of, most of it is totally wild natural vegetation. It comes practically right up to that what is called an existing patio.
I suspect that since this addition has been in the planning and we talked to the landowner about mitigation, that the area probably hasn't been mowed. When I've seen it, Bill, in particular, early spring and last fall. And prior to that, because I've worked on this site years ago, 2007, 2008, the area was meadow grasses, so tall grasses, yes, and I suspect the pitch pines have come up rather recently.
But again, excuse me, the pitch pines have got to be like 4 or 5 years old. I'm not kidding. And there are bushes that are, you know, it's all overgrown. I mean, big time overgrown by years of growth. And so, to the extent that that is going to be a do we make a mitigation zone in a place that's already as good a looking mitigation area, if you will, now? And so, I guess I would turn to Ed or someone that, I mean, you have lawn on either side, and to the extent that you're planting some real lawn, and that you have I want to say a marked revised plan that has, clearly where the new mitigation is going on what is currently lawn. I'm good with that. But if you were to go back, if you were to have somebody go back with a COC and say, oh yeah, it's all planted. Well, it's already done for the most part, is what I'm saying. I don't know how we resolve that, but I mean, I do think that needs to be, and none of it was flagged. So therefore, having the mitigation area really flagged, marked out, and not in the area that currently has. I mean, I have lots of pitch pine on my property, and I know those suckers are, those little trees are got to be like 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
You can count the branches going up. It's like, and the bushes are tall. Anyhow,
Bill, yeah. If you would prefer, we could put the planting area in this location.
Yeah.
Could I make a comment?
Go ahead.
It's a follow-up to this, and it might. I agree with you, Bill. When I walk the property, I notice there's a big drop off, Arlene, on that left side. And if you go around where it's 8 foot, I don't even know why they would want to mow down there. So it's a big drop off on the left side. So exactly where your cursor is where I didn't understand the mitigation could go down in that valley. So do you know what I'm talking about? That I would ask that you move it to where there's lawn down there, that I can't understand why anybody would want to go down with a lawnmower and mow anyways, which with the mitigation would fit better than where I wouldn't want to disturb, to me, what's looked like it's growing in wild at the point of the property. But if you go to that left side and put it down there where you see, if you follow the 8 foot mark off of the resource, it almost would fit naturally, exactly the shape you have in that corner.
Yes. Yeah. That's right.
So that would be I'm following up what Bill said, because I agree that it's not the addition that's the problem, the proposed addition or anything. It's where the mitigation planting was. That was going to be my comment.
Yep.
Thank you.
Angela, let me just make sure. Can you see my cursor?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right where you're talking about putting it?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the area.
And it's almost the same exact
shape. Almost the same area.
It's a lawn.
Coverage.
It's on existing mowed lawn.
Right. It's all the way down that steep hill on that left side of the house. Exactly.
Thank you, Angela and Bill. Ed, do you have anything to add?
No, I would agree with all that comments. I did note I did not see the BVW delineated at all, so it was very difficult to tell all of that. I mean, I knew where the BVW was, but I would agree the mitigation area was not marked. So it was, again, it looked like it was going into an already vegetated and what seemed to be a naturally vegetated area. So I would agree spreading out that mitigation over to the yard would be the best way to do it.
Yep.
The other thing we need to add, though, by the time you do that revised plan with the new relocations of the mitigation planting area, I think we usually need a demarcations on the mitigation planting.
Yes. Yeah, I agree there.
Yep.
John? John, unmute yourself.
I'm sorry. I apologize for that, Tom. I too walked it, Bill and Angela, and I also looked for where the mitigation area should have been marked off, and I couldn't find it. So I'm glad I wasn't the only one. Arlene, I know you usually do mark those, and I would appreciate it if you'd just make sure that happens.
I apologize. I thought it had been, but
I couldn't find it, and I guess I wasn't the only one.
I believe you.
Thanks, Arlene. Thank you.
Ed, do we need the annual report for the mitigation planting?
I would include it for this one. It is over the 300 square feet, so I would include it under this circumstance.
Okay. Any more comments from the commissioner? Channel 18, any public comment on this?
Seeing none.
None? Let me try this. Could I have a motion to approve this project subject to receipt of a revised plan showing the new locations of the mitigation planting area and the demarcation line? And we also need an annual report of 3 years. Oh, the other things too, on the revised plan, add some additional dimensions for the proposed additions. There's no dimension on that house.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Abadili.
Aye.
Hearn.
Aye.
Kashulik.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Sampu.
Aye.
Tangney. Aye. That's unanimous.
Thank you. Good luck. The next NOI is Royal Cadini Conserve Group Inc. renovation of existing 3-bedroom, one story single family dwelling to propose 5-bedroom, 2.5-story single family dwelling with balcony, all elevated on piles, extending existing seashell driveway and landscaping improvement at 51st Harv Avenue, Hyannis, as shown on the assessors map 323, parcel 005, and this is Rich. Is Rich?
Brendan Reale from Atlantic Design Engineers.
Okay, Brendan.
Thank you. I can share my screen with you guys. So again, Brendan Reale, Atlantic Design Engineers, representing the applicant, Conserve Group LLC. The property is located in the village of Hyannis on the south side of Hawes Ave. It is addressed as 51 Hawes Ave, and it's approximately 6,500 square feet. Existing conditions at the site, the lot is fully developed and consists of a single-story, 3-bedroom residence. There's landscaping, seashell driveway and walkway, and a maintained lawn. The lot is located in a FEMA flood zone VE with a base flood elevation of 14, Mass DEP sole source aquifer, and town aquifer protection overlay. It is not in NHESP Zone 2 IWPA area of critical environmental concern or a surface water supply protection area. There was a delineation completed by environmental consulting and restoration in November 2023. There was a coastal dune delineated approximately 25 feet southeast of the property. And approximately the southern or southeastern half of the site is within the 100-foot buffer for the coastal dune. So the proposed project is to renovate the existing dwelling to a 2.5-story, 5-bedroom home on wooden-driven piles. The finished floor elevation will be elevation 17, which is 3 feet above the base flood elevation. The skirt area, or the area below the first floor, will utilize lattice or vertical boards, which will allow flood waters to flow through. The entry level will be solely used for parking and the building access. There is a slight increase in the footprint of the building within the buffer zone, but there's also a slight increase in distance from the building to the dune. So there's a bit of a trade-off there. There is no building or development within the 50-foot buffer. And that's about it for the project. It's pretty straightforward. The existing landscaping is primarily hydrangea and accented with, I believe, boxwood, and they are going to maintain what's there. The lawn is going to remain lawn. The landscaping is going to be transplanted as they're able to, or replanted with the same species, and no proposed hard landscape. As the NOI indicates, the driveway is seashell. That's going to remain the same. They're just going to extend it a little bit further than what's existing to reach the entrance to the garage. Any questions?
I just have one quick one. Is this connected to the town sewer?
I'm sorry, could you, town sewer? Yes, it is. Yep, it will remain on town sewer.
I think on the you should show it on the plan that you're connected to the town sewer. Question from the commissioner. Seeing none? This is a flood zone project, so we have, less of a concern. But the only thing I'm wondering if you have an architect showing the side view of the building, that would be that nice to be on the file. So
okay, yeah, I do.
Okay. Do we have that on the file, Ed?
I believe so. I don't have it right in front of me here right now.
Okay.
If not, I can send the copy.
Yeah. Please send a copy so that we have it in our record. So, Angela.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I guess I'm just summarizing for my own clarity. So basically, the footprint is about the same. You moved it away from the dune, but it's a little larger. You're doing a 2-story on top of lifting it, so it's actually 3 stories high.
I per the architect and the zoning definitions of stories, it will be a 2.5 story.
Right. That's fine. It's out of my jurisdiction for what I'm looking at. And the land right there, there's no trees, there's no bushes, it's all grass around it. This is just a flat redo on basically the same footprint that you've moved a little.
Yes, for the most part, at the entrance here, it is, like I said, hydrangeas and boxwood. So that you can see there's a tree up here. Basically, they are going to do everything they can to maintain what's there. Things may have to be replanted a little bit and shifted, but they are, trying to maintain exactly what they have.
Okay, thank you.
According to our record, we have not received the DEP number. Have you?
No, I checked it before the meeting and still had not seen a DEP number.
Okay, so we probably need a continuance just to waiting for the DEP number.
Okay.
Okay. Channel 18, any public comment on this?
Seeing none.
None. Could I have a motion to approve these projects but need a continuance, waiting for the DEP number? When do you want the continuance? It's let's see.
Well, I hope to get the DEP number any day. So if that's that and just making sure you guys have the architectural plans are the items to kind of close this out, as soon as possible. If we can be on the next meeting, I can't imagine it'll take them too much longer to issue a number.
So the next hearing is the August 18th. I mean 19th.
Okay.
Okay.
That works.
So with the continuance date, August the 19th.
Tom, do you want the revised plan to showing the sewer connection as well?
Oh, yes, yes, thank you. And can you submit a revised plan showing a connections to the town sewer?
Yeah, I do have this note here. If you know, do you have some specific language you would like me to add or, you know, modify?
No, I think this would be sufficient because now I can see that great sewer line.
Yes, yeah, the sewer line, there's a lot going on there because we also have the overhead wires, so apologize for that. But the note.
There it is.
Yeah, okay, fine. I don't need that revised plan with the sewer.
Okay.
So I make the motions.
Oh, we do have a comment from the applicant, Roy.
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Hi.
I just wondered, we're pending Board of Appeals as well as Historic, and this decision is prior to that filing. The owner would like to get this project moving. Is there any way you could approve this subject to receiving that number?
That's what we do it.
Oh, but you're asking for a continuance, which would then delay this another period, and I'm wondering if it could be decided.
No, we cannot close this without getting the DEP number. But we are basically approve it, but waiting for the DEP number.
Okay, so you cannot. That was the question. It would be just an accommodation to, you know that's coming and just a matter of procedure, I guess.
Correct. Correct.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But we also have to wait in case DEP would have a comment. So you can't close it because of that.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So I make the motions with the continuance date to August the 19th.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Abadili.
Aye.
Hearn.
Aye.
Kashulik.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Sampu.
Aye.
Tangney, aye. That's unanimous, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
The next NOI is Kenneth G. Morton, trustee to reconstruct licensed wooden groin at 373 Sandy Neck, Barnstable, as shown in Assessors Map 2338, Parcel 001. And we have received the NHSP letter, and this is Dan.
Good evening or afternoon, Chairman, members of the commission. For the record, Dan Ojala. I'm a land surveyor and civil engineer with Downcape Engineering in Yarmouthport. And helping Ken Morton, who's the current trustee of this historic property, with pretty straightforward matter. Back in, I believe it's 06, we got permission to rebuild the two groins. I'll share my screen so you can see what we're dealing with here. This is the kind of the historic lighthouse out on Sandy Neck, the very point of Sandy Neck. And you can see from the locust map where the furthest building out as you look across kind of the eastern end of that Sandy Neck village. And there's historically been for many, many years, I think it even shows in an 1850 plan, a couple of groins, that stick out and slow some of the waves and help protect the colony. They're fallen into disrepair more even than they had back in 06, I believe it was. 05-ish, 06-ish, you gave us permission to rebuild them. They weren't done at that time, but Mr. Morton has committed or would like to do them at this time. He had rebuilt the bulkhead. You'll see, I think, later in your meeting, a little certificate of compliance for that, a little bulkhead that was against there. So these are just standalone vertical walls. We're going with what would be sort of a little bit more modern design. We're using vertical planks instead of horizontal because the horizontal ones just get beat up too much. They take a little bit too much force. So we're going with a heavier gauge, 3-inch tongue and groove, and basically the exact same footprint, just rebuilding them. And the historic nature will be preserved. It's a nice nautical maritime look. We talked with Beacon Marine about the construction methodology. There is shellfish there. He can put alternative mats out if needed. But it's a big tidal range, so he'll have a chance at high tide to do the upper piles and low tide to do the lower piles and work, mid tide and up and so forth. But driving in piles, pulling out what's there, driving in fresh piles, redoing the sheeting and buttoning everything up. So maritime works, water dependent. As you mentioned, we did get a letter from NHESP, and as expected, they don't want you to work before the 1st of September out there because of piping plovers and the turns. So that was their only real concern, that we follow those conditions. I did put in my package at the end of it the comment letter, and those 4 conditions are fine. Their second or third sheet has the four conditions, and then but again, you had permitted this many years ago. He's decided to now pull the trigger, so we're reapplying. Glad to answer any questions if you have them. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. The DEP, the NHSP letter is dated the May 6th, and the time of the year constructions, the time of the year restrictions is from May 1st to July 31st. And the other is kind of like a minor comment, typical comment for this type of constructions. Ed, is there anything else we're waiting for this?
Yeah, so I just looking on that. I've got the DMF letter dated May 6th. I didn't see the NHESP letter come through. Did you have that, Dan?
Yeah, it was the last. If you look at our transmittal, it was the last thing except the directions, which we sent you to the gatehouse. Good luck with that. But you pretty much need a boat or a 4-wheel drive to get out here. But yeah, see it at the end of the package there.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you. I missed that one. And then I think we're still waiting on. Did you get any comment from Shellfish or the Waterways Committee?
No, I don't think we bothered to file with Waterways. Shellfish would be glad to listen to any comments they had. It's these structures have been there for so long. If you'd like us to follow them, we could. But again, it was permitted in 06. They've been there since 1800s, and it's not much to see. We're not changing anything. It's just basically a rebuild. So we didn't think it would be necessarily need to go through that step, but I'd leave it up to the board.
All right. Have you spoken to Harbor Master as well?
Sarah may have. I'm not sure. She usually puts in the narrative whether she's talked to anybody yet, but I couldn't remember. Yeah.
Yeah, you've checked off for both Shellfish and Harbor Master. So
there you go. Yeah, so she would have done that for sure.
So we should at least wait for comments from both of those.
Thank you, Ed. How much time do you need it for the Shellfish and the Harbor Master comment stuff?
You can try. I mean, I can reach out to the Shellfish and Harbor Master to see if they have any comments, but so you could try for a short continuous to the 19th.
To the 19th?
If that's okay, Dan, it's up to you.
Yeah, let's try that. And that failing, we could continue again. It's just it's formality. The DEP issued their number, no comments except that, the time of year for NHESP and Chapter 91, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Any question from the commissioner? The other things too, I think, Kate went out and took some pictures too and sent it to us. I think those are nice pictures to show the existing growing out there. 10:18, any public comment on this one?
Seeing none.
Could I have a motions to continue with these applications to August the 19th?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Abadili,
Aye.
Hearn,
Aye.
Pashulik,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Sampu,
Present. Aye.
Tangney, aye. That's unanimous, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you then. Thank you very much.
The last NOI this afternoon is 3 Bay Preservations, Inc., management of approximately 90 square feet of the invasive Phragmites and other Botanic state-listed invasive planting that surround the Cranberry Bog system at 946, 948, and 0 River Road, Marston's Mill, as shown on the Assessors Map 045, parcel 026, 011, and 016-004. And before I go to Stephen, Bill has to recuse himself because he is on the abutters list.
That's right. Good luck.
Yes. Hi, Steve.
Hi. For the record, Steve Lee, Wilkinson Ecological Design, representing the applicant. I will share my screen. Okay, you can all see that?
Yes.
Great. This is quite simply just an early intervention of some Phragmites and some other state-listed invasives we saw while walking the property. You can see in this corner here, we identified approximately 45 square feet of Phragmites. It's just getting started there. So we're asking to treat it with our bundle cut and wipe method that we've employed in similar sites in Barnstable, as well as just walking the property with our GPS unit. We just tagged very, very small areas, mostly of Asiatic bittersweet, present on the boundaries as well as kind of on the paths into the bogs themselves. In addition, there was some multiflora rose out there as well as some black locust saplings down in the southeast corner. This is a very similar scope and approach to what we did at 110 Bog last year, which is performing very well in this season. I believe we just submitted the monitoring report, same client, same protocols, and kind of extent of invasion. Actually, it was worse at 110 Bog. So I'll keep it simple. We're just asking to treat the invasives we find on the perimeters there, as well as taking care of that frag that's present on the site. And with that, I'm willing to answer any questions.
Thank you, Steve. We don't have the DEP number for this, right?
No, I checked with our team. We haven't seen the DEP number yet.
Oh, right. So we probably need a continuance. I'm thinking of the same thing on the August 19th date.
Yes, that'd be great. Phragmites treatment is a little time sensitive, so we're hoping to get it out there as soon as possible.
Okay. Any questions from the commissioner? None?
None.
Channel 18, any public comment on this one?
Seeing none.
None? So 2 things I'm thinking of as far as the conditions. One is the ongoing invasive planting removal as an ongoing conditions. And second is for the chemical treatments, you need to be performed by the licensed applicator. Is that okay?
That's fine. All of our work across all projects are performed by licensed applicators. That's fine. And thank you for being mindful of the ongoing conditions. Yes, that would be something we'd like to see when this gets closed out.
Okay.
Do you want to just include Wilkinson as the contractor of record and notify if anybody changes?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So let me try this. Could I have a motion to approve this project with the following conditions? 1, Wilkinson is the contractor on file, and if there is any change, you need to submit a written notification to the staff. And second is the ongoing invasive planting removal as an ongoing conditions. And for chemical treatment, you need a licensed applicator for that, and we need a continuance to August the 19th for the issuance of the DEP number.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Abadili?
Aye.
Kashulik?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Sampu?
Aye.
And Tangney, aye. That's unanimous, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. We have 2 continuance. The first one is 260 Vineyard Road LLC to repair and maintain existing revetment and to extend existing cobble berm at 260 and 270 Vineyard Road, contoured as shown in Assessors Map 015, parcel 006-003 and 004-004. And this is a continuance from from July the 22nd. And the quorum is everyone. And
a couple of us weren't here that day, Tom. I wasn't, somebody else wasn't.
oh, sorry, you and Pete,
Yes,
right?
correct.
It was not heard,
No,
though.
it's not, no testimony
Oh,
was
yeah.
taken. It never opened.
Without, they were open, but there's no
Testimony.
yeah, there's no testimony, so that's why it's called is everyone.
Okay.
Everyone can hear it today.
Yep.
Got it.
John.
Thank you, John O'Day from Sullivan Engineering Consulting, representing the applicants. Project is at 260, 270 Vineyard Road. We have over 14 acres of land by the Pompanesett Bay entrance. The shoreline is protected by stone revetments. They started being constructed in groins. Construction started in the 1950s, evolved through the 80s. There has been repairs over the years. Most recently, 2006, 2013 in the area that we're talking about. We provided some photos from 2009 of the revetment, and then some photos of what it looks like today. You can see that we are having some erosion and scouring above the wall. Our narrative went through, and I'm happy to go in as much detail as we need, but this shoreline historically was protected by Pompanesett Spit. It broke through in the 50s. That's when these structures started being constructed. The entrance channel seems to evolve. Some years it's closer, some years it's further, but the channel is pretty tight up against those stones these days. And so really probably the bottom is falling, and we need to do some repairs to the top of it. I'll flip to the plan in a second, but just kind of continuing on the picture front, as we wrapped around the corner, the boulders ended. The beach had a nice kind of cobble area along the landward side of it, probably a result of the fact that some of that land has eroded 400 feet in the last 50 years, but that stone is pretty well kind of protecting the embankment, and then it ends, and where it ends, we're seeing some erosion and trees falling over and into the harbor, and so we are requesting to just do a very narrow, I think it's 3 foot wide kind of cobble berm right along the top of the beach to try to protect that low embankment. So again, flipping to the plan for you all. This is the stone groin right by the front is there. We're not doing anything in that area where I was showing that photo, and we can see that it's clearly falling down is in this area. So we've called for this section to be repaired. This hatch is that sort of existing cobble beach. We're not doing anything there, but we are just asking to extend that 3 feet wide right along the top of the beach to the north. There's a couple of trees that are literally falling over the bank, some of them laying on the beach. I think that there's a total of 5 that we are asking to remove from the beach before they get caught in a big tide or big storm and pulled out to the sea. I think with that, it's a sort of brief explanation. I think that these repairs have been before you going on 40 years, and it probably won't be the last. We are asking that, if this were approved, that there would be some ongoing maintenance conditions. They came down after a bad winter, needed a little top dressing at the top. Maybe it's something that could be done with staff. If someone ignores it for 20 years and it gets to looking where it is today, that would understandably be beyond maintenance and would require some sort of a new filing. But we are hoping that the commission could consider some minor repairs as an ongoing condition. And
thank you, John. Bill?
Yeah, I visited the site, and there's no question that that large boulder revetment needs to be fixed, and go for it. I'm all for your plan there. I'm less happy, if you will, with the removal of those trees, in that there are a few, and they're like laying basically inland. They're all like lying down perpendicular. There's one that's kind of dead that's hanging up there, but for the most part, they look like they might provide some natural stabilization of the bank, if you will. I wonder if removing them isn't more detrimental for bank stabilization. I don't know that they're going to immediately dislodge in a storm. So I'm a little mixed about that section in the tree removal. The one thing that I really had a problem with myself is that boulder, that 3-foot wide boulder strip. That is a remarkably beautiful little beach. There's hermit crabs. There's a little salt marshy emergent vegetation that's in the shallows between the beach and the ocean itself, you know, where it gets deeper. It's totally undisturbed, and it's so natural that I'm concerned about the precedent where someone is concerned, oh, I think I'm going to have a problem. And so now let's lay down a 3-foot span of cobble along the beach. I don't think that's a good precedent that we should be setting, and it's not apparent that there's any damage from the storms to date on that section. So personally, I'm all for the revetment repair, and I'm a little, I'm undecided on the trees, but I really am not happy with the cobble band on on this plan, the left side up at the top. Thank you.
So I can address those comments.
Yes, please.
I think that's an interesting about, are the tree roots providing any stability, and would taking those out cause any more damage? Again, these are only the ones that are literally hanging off the side. There's nothing going into the buffer zone. But for those that were still standing, would it make sense to cut them before they fall and rip things apart, but leave a 2-foot stump or something, like not touch the root system at all? I think it's a very interesting and a good point. But I think that leaving the completely dead, half falling off the edge trees there, they will go any day, and when they turn with their roots, I think that they will do more damage. As for I'm glad that you corrected yourself. No boulders going over here. We're talking about cobbles, and we are talking about just continuing what's along that shoreline already. And I think that's why we included those photos, and not to the extent that it is today. I think that cobble dunes mixed with sand are actually like soft solutions that I think are generally accepted by the state, and have been used in other places. And it just seemed, where we have this cobble sort of stretch already extending, because that shoreline has changed so much over time, and we can flip to the areas to show how much that has carved in over the years. It just seemed like a soft solution, but to try to slow it from deteriorating more.
Can I respond to that, Tom?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I saw a beach that basically had beach grass in that area that you want to lay cobble down. And the beach grass sort of transitions into, I want to call it forest. I didn't see cobble. I don't see that the addition of the cobble is a natural thing at all. It really is sort of a beach grassy area. And I walked along there, and I'm going, why would you want to do that? And so I don't think that that's a good idea, and I don't think that's you're not putting cobble where there is cobble. But as for the trees, I'm not sure. I mean, I have mixed feelings about it. What I saw on the trees was more of call it a 20-foot long, trees. Maybe they're 15 feet long, whatever. But they're like, I want to call them, are they cedar? I can't remember. But they're lying flat on the ground, and they go straight down, into the woods. So I'm not. I can go either way with that. Depends on what other commissioners are thinking. But that cobble area on that far left, upper far left is not a good thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. John?
Yeah, I interestingly enough got an email from Bill saying, "Amo, you really ought to get out there and look at it because it's absolutely gorgeous." And Bill, you were absolutely right.
Just say that.
Little trouble getting to it. But anyways, you're absolutely right. And I too would raise a question about the trees. John, I could go along with your suggestion of taking down the trees, removing the trees that are totally fallen and aren't doing anything. And I could probably, Bill, go along with a suggestion of maybe topping the other trees, but leaving 5 or 6 feet in. I'm like you, kind of ambivalent on that, but I'm okay if everybody else is okay with it. And I must say, I strongly do agree with Bill relative to this cobblestone. I mean, hardscaping the wall like that, and even though it's a soft solution to what appeared to me to be, again, a beautiful beach that was undisturbed, and I walked it was gorgeous, etc. And I didn't see it's not like there's a house there. It's not like we're worried about something falling down or damage. So, John, I too have trouble with that extension, I have to say. I would agree with Bill on those.
Thank you, John. Pete?
Yeah, I have over 2 decades of experience with this point. I fish this area regularly, either by walking in from Bailey Road or from kayaking over from Oregon Way. So I'm extraordinarily familiar with this, and I visited it and looked at it in depth recently. Mr. O'Day, I definitely agree, and I'll give some observations to it, that revetment is probably getting hollowed out from below, and for 2 reasons. One, you're getting the wake of the boats that are coming in and out on that channel. And I saw it happen, that actually boat wakes are hitting those big rocks. So it presents quite a challenge to firming that up. You also have as you look to the southwest, a pretty long fetch. If you have an extraordinarily high tide, hurricane, or whatever, that is really working with the potential for wave action on that revetment. And I'm going to take specific eye on the furthest west extension of that revetment, the boulder revetment. I walked down and in there, and that is where that revetment is the most damaged, at the very western end of it. So again, it's quite obvious up on the top of it, you're getting overwashed, but the actual wave attenuation or the wave protection is right on that western extent of the boulder revetment, which most certainly needs fixing. Now let's move around up to the north. And again, I concur with both Commissioner Abadili and Commissioner Hearn, but I'm also going to present an observation. Again, I have a PhD in oceanography, specializing in nearshore environments. There is a new Spartina marsh developing just off of where you sort of have the northern terminus of the existing, quote, cobble and where you want to put the cobble. And I did a quick AI search looking at coastal energy dynamics if a new Spartina marsh is developing. And I'd like to put this into the record, please. In areas where new Spartina marshes, and this is what AI kicked out for me on my fairly specific science search on here. In areas where new Spartina marshes are developing, there's a significant shift in coastal energy dynamics as these marshes become established. Here's how Spartina marsh development impacts coastal energy dynamics. Wave energy attenuation. Spartina plants, particularly their dense stems, act as a natural barrier, absorbing and dissipating the energy of waves and tidal currents. This reduces the force of waves reaching the shoreline, lessening the destructive potential of storms and everyday erosion. Studies indicate that salt marshes can reduce wave heights by up to 50% over a 100-meter distance. Again, you don't have 100 meters, but you have probably starting about almost 20 to 30 meters. Second point, sediment stabilization and accretion. The extensive root and rhizome systems of Spartina plants bind the soil, increasing its resistance to erosion. The vegetation also traps sediments carried by waves and currents, promoting vertical accretion and further enhancing shoreline stability. This process allows the marsh to keep pace with sea level rise. Finally, the third point that I'd like to bring up, reduced erosion and runoff. The marsh vegetation helps reduce runoff erosion by absorbing water, breaking the impact of raindrops, and physically slowing the flow of overland runoff. What I did notice in this developing Spartina marsh was it was in fact accreting. In fact, within those dense stands, it was a higher level of sediment than right at that edge of the shoreline. So you have here developing pretty much where you sort of have that initial where you want to put the cobble there. It runs out from there. It's the only place that I've, again, been fishing this place for over 2 decades. The Spartina marshes to the direct west of this have been eroded badly, primarily by fishermen traffic that have been stepping on it. But this is a healthy, growing Spartina marsh that is happening in here. And it's providing wonderful coverage to that shoreline. The sand that you want to put the cobble on is very fine-grained sand. Again, this is also indicative of a low energy environment, this accretion of fine sand up in there. So I think, along with Mr. Abadili and Mr. Hearn, that putting the cobble there is completely unneeded. With respect to the trees, again, most of those trees are laying inland. There's a couple stumps that signify the erosion of forests in that area, but their roots are still there and not rotting in so much in that salt environment. It's hard for bacteria to take care of lignin in a sulfitic environment. But those trees that are lying inland have tremendous root mass and tangled, very fibrous roots. They are also doing a great job at protecting that shoreline. Again, if you can enhance that western extent and maybe build it a little bit up of that revetment, I think that you're going to get the protection that you want from, in that little potential for erosion that you were in. And again, I'd also agree with Mr. Abadili that we're not here looking at the protection of a home or a residence. This is land. You just don't want it to erode anymore. And I think nature is actually providing that with the benefit of a good western extent of that revetment. Thank you.
Angela, do you have any comment on this?
Yeah, ditto probably works. All I ever understood was the revetment, and the rest of it, I didn't understand why you needed to do any of it. So I agree with the rest of the commissioners. Thank you.
So, I just want to make sure, are you seeing a photo now?
Yep.
So I just want to make sure that we're not getting confused on locations or scales or scopes. I mean, this is kind of standing at the tailing end of what we had hatched as that existing cobble. And so when we are talking about trees, we are talking about like literally this tree that's roots are totally gone, and or a tree that's totally gone on the beach. Nothing into the above that scarp at all. Nothing into the buffer zone. I'm a little bit confused by the comments about the beach grass and the salt marsh and so I wanted to bring up the photos to sort of say that this we weren't talking about anything in the vicinity of either of those as far as we can see on this pictures. And I totally agree, it's a beautiful beach. But when we were talking about trying to create this cobble berm, it was, above where this water line is even. It was just, sort of a little 3 foot right along the existing 18-inch scarp there. So
John, can I just say, I guess in simplified terms, we're asking, why does it need to be touched at all? You're not giving us good reasons to just leave this. For wildlife, the way it is, we see no reason for you to touch this. Other than what you're asking for, which is the repair of the revetment, which we all agree on, the rest of it we're having issue with in many ways. I guess that's really simplifying it. Why do you need to touch it at all? Do you have an answer for that?
So this is on the western side, 110 feet proposed cobble berm extension piece that we are questioning.
That's right. Yes, and so that's we can talk about the why, but I wanted to make sure that we were looking at the same area, because we're not talking about disturbing beach grass or salt marsh or intertidal or anything. We are like fully limited to 3 feet from where those tree roots are. So in why do we want to do anything in this area? In terms of the trees, we think that when these trees fall over, it will be more damaging towards that shoreline. When those roots rip and turn and pull the dirt with it, that we think that would be disruptive to the embankment. I don't know what we want to call it. It's only 2 or 3 feet high here, but I don't see how these limited 5 trees on the 15 acres that could fall and could get pulled out in storms and could cause more damage to the shoreline have any impact. In terms of why do we want to prevent further erosion from the property? Let me stop sharing and reshare again.
While you're doing that, John, on that photograph, on those 3 fallen trees with the wood showing the wood ball, ball stuff, I don't have a problem of removing it, but that's only me. I just want to mention that. So the big question is on the 110 feet, is it, will it do anything to protect it or not? I'm not sure.
So, I mean, not even going back the 50, 80 years that we were talking about when these structures started being constructed. But, if we follow the parcel lines here, I think that you can see, just in that 89 to 95, that shoreline has moved in significantly. And now, what was sand 10 years before is now fully underwater. So there is more water moving into that area. And so, trying to preserve the land, I think that's important. It's not that there's been no impacts on this property. And as was stated, some of it's beyond our control. Some of it's wakes. Some of it's what years do they decide to dredge into Pompanesett and cut the tip of the spit back. We're getting impacts that are beyond our control. And we thought that this was a soft way to try to soften it.
Thank you, John. Bill?
Yeah, I don't have the photos to provide you right now, but I remember taking photos on my cell phone, and the area that you wanted to put the strip of cobble in, it was flagged. You had orange flags out there. And I know that there was a graduated grassy beach with hermit crabs. And the photo that you showed that had the down trees, I would say was right about where your cursor is, right at the corner, but you were carrying where the orange flagging was straight to the left, quite a ways from where your cursor was. And that was the area that I was thinking, why? And as Pete Sampu has said, you've got a low velocity area with salt marsh that's establishing there that's going to be protecting that area naturally. In fact, if there is any increase in ocean movement inward, if you would, inland, the salt marsh is going to definitely help stabilize and keep that. So I just don't see a need for that cobble. As for the trees, again, it seems like a minor thing, but I don't know that you're really doing a whole lot removing those trees in terms of stabilization.
Thank you, Bill. Pete?
Tom, just if you want, I did take pictures this morning, and there is a picture here that I think will help everybody look at it. John, thank you, John, for dropping your screen. Hold on for just a second.
Yep.
Can you see that?
Yep.
I can see you're beautifully illuminated.
So you can see I just drew the red lines, and here's the western stake for the cobble area, and here's the eastern stake. And I did have to stitch two photographs together, but it's matched on this tree here. So, but you can definitely see the salt marsh area that's definitely developing. I was quite surprised by that salt marsh area. But then you can see what the rest of the bank looks like over here. I'm sorry, don't see the bank. It's not a bank.
Ed, do you want to keep the picture up? Peak?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that was a salt marsh that I actually went and looked, and it is accreting sediment, so it's building. That's what the salt marsh, that's what the Spartina stems will do. With respect, again, I'm going to go back to removing those trees and the roots. A number of those trees, again, have already fallen, and the roots are essentially tipped 90 degrees up. And you don't want to remove them, because then you've got sort of nothing between you and the next line of roots that are in there. What you have there right now is a couple of these series of roots that are tipped up, perpendicular to any kind of wave action coming in, that actually, along with the Spartina grass, are absorbing any kind of waves that might be getting in there. Again, you need a pretty high tide and probably a strong fetch out of the southwest. That's probably what did these trees in. But yeah, this is land that over the course, again, of the next 20 years, as I've seen the past 20 years, you're going to be losing unless you can somehow lessen the wave action from boaters and from that fetch from the southwest. You're going to be losing land in there. And again, I really think that your best bet is the very strong protection of that western corner of that revetment. Make it strong. It is a mess right now. Waves are coming right over that. So I think you have probably the permission to do it like it once was, and that would be much better for the area that you are concerned about erosion, where that down trees are right now. Thank you.
So am I hearing correct that we are disagreeing in terms of doing anything about that 110 proposed cobble berm extensions and leave those 2 or 3 fallen trees as it is?
That's what this commissioner thinks.
Can I ask Peter a question, Tom?
Yeah, go ahead.
Peter, I want to understand what you just said, because I think Bill and I were kind of, quote, ambivalent on some of those trees, but you're not ambivalent. You think that leaving them there is essential. Is that correct, Pete?
Yes, and in fact, I will take Scorton Creek in Sandwich that has had bad erosion where folks park in there, and they had for a while some trees in there. They have a much higher current on that Scorton Creek, but the trees and in a shallow area, this is really shallow, and any kind of wave action isn't going to pull stuff out. It's going to push it further in. That I think it's helping protect that shoreline. Yeah, that's my long experience with the coast and with this. Again, I've got over 20 years of walking this point.
Then I'm going to change my, quote, ambivalence to agree with your.
And is that
Still the same way.
Is that opinion the ones that have already fallen, or the ones that have already fallen and the ones that are still standing but hanging off the edge? Are you thinking that those, and I can go back to them.
Well, the ones that there's only one or two that are hanging. They're hung up in the trees behind them. So
John, why don't you go to that pictures?
Yeah, I think Ed would just have to stop and I can flip back to mine.
Yeah.
So if you top the that angle, yes, the one that you're pointing to right now, that angled one. Again, if you want to top that so it doesn't completely tip, that makes sense. But the ones that are already tipped, look at those,
the fallen one.
Yeah, the ones that are already fallen. Look at that mass of fibrous roots. And again, it's really shallow. You don't have big waves coming in there, especially with the Spartina there.
Like this was one of the other ones that we probably marked that it's.
Yeah. So you top that one. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the fallens leave the other.
The ones that you don't want
three
to.
or four that we said.
Yeah, the ones that you don't want to tip and pull, some of the roots that are still in soil. Top those. But again, leave 5 or 6 feet so that you've got some sort of structure there holding the root mass underneath them. Again, that's. I've been in this place a long time.
That sounds reasonable.
Yeah. And not doing that 110 feet extensions.
Yeah, definitely not. It's not needed.
That's correct. So we'd have to submit a revised, if otherwise you'd have to submit a revised plan showing those changes, Tom.
Right. Okay. Channel 18, any public comment on this one?
Seeing none.
Could I have a motion to approve this project subject to receipt of a revised plan removing the 110-foot proposed cobble berm extensions and the cutting of some tree? I mean, the topping some trees to protect the berm.
Any trees could be topped to say 5-foot lengths. The fallen trees should remain.
Right.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Abadili.
Aye.
Hearn.
Aye.
Kashulik.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Sampu.
Aye.
And Tangney, aye. That's unanimous, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Good luck, John. The last continuous Town of Barnstable DBW proposed maintenance dredging of mid-entrance channel and Bluffs Point boat ramp access channels to the previous authorized depths at 307 Millway Road, Barnstable, as shown in Assessors Map 301, Parcel 064. And this is a continuance from August the 5th, and we're still waiting for the NHSP letter. And the applicant has requested for a continuance to September the 9th, waiting for the NHSP letter. Could I have a motion to continue this applications to September the 9th, waiting for the NHSP letter?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Abadili.
Aye.
Hearn,
Aye.
Kashulik,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Sampu,
Aye.
Tangney, aye. That's unanimous.
Our next hearing is at 6:30 on August the 19th. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Abadili,
Aye.
Hearn,
Aye.
Kashulik,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Sampu,
Aye.
and Tangney, aye. That's unanimous. It's 5:04.